Hello, this is SJ Talks of Life coming back at you with another video. If you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's that little button down there. If you're on your phone looking at my video, it's right down there. Go ahead and hit that button. And make sure you guys share my videos. I'm still trying to grow here. All right, please and thank you. I want to talk about, there was and I can't remember, I was going to do a screenshot video. I was going to do a screenshot. You know, I bootleg it over here. I was going to do a screenshot video of this woman, this man, begged his baby mama to have a baby. He begged her to have it. And against her better judgment, she had the baby. And after she had the baby, he got ghost on her. And acting like he didn't want to help her. I guess they were allegedly still together, but he wasn't helping her. He wasn't helping her with the baby. You know, he's kind of ghosting her and not helping her with the baby, and leaving most of the responsibilities of taking care of the child on her. And they in the video telling him, 2-year-old daughter, I'm going to sign up my rights to this little girl because you wanted her. She said, I'm going to live my life. You wanted her. I didn't. I'm going to sign up my rights. That's what she said to him. Because you're not doing nothing to help me. She said he wasn't helping her or anything like that. She's left with the sole responsibility of taking care of the child. So, in a sense, hold on just a second. It's got a lot going on out here right now. Anyway, neighbor's son passed away, so she's been having a lot of company at her house. Just a lot going on out here. Anyway, heart and prayers go out to the family. Anywho, she was telling him that she didn't want any responsibility, or she didn't want the child no more, that she's going to sign up her rights because he's not doing nothing to help her. She's been having the sole responsibility of taking care of the child, this and that and the other. I was going to shot it and then talk about it, but I can't find it. So he trapped her. He pretty much trapped her he begged her to have this child. Well, I don't know if I can say in her case it was entrapment because she agreed to have this baby. But that brings me to my topic. People always talk about when children are born outside of marriage, the first person that they blame is the woman. The woman gets all the blame, and it's her fault that the child is here because they say, argument wise, that a woman controls whether a child is born or not, via meaning that the woman can have an abortion. So they say it's all the woman's fault when children out of wedlock are conceived. It's the woman's fault. The woman gets blamed for it because they say women control whether the child is going to be born or not. I say abortion is murder. It is not birth control. It is murder. It's not even legal in a lot of states anymore. And it's murder. It is not a form of birth control. So that is not a viable option for a woman. It shouldn't be because it's not birth control. That's my argument. Okay? It's murder. God's eyes is murder, plain and simple. But that's the arguments that people say, that it's a woman's fault when a child is born outside of marriage because, that's the arguments that people give. You know how the world is. That's just how they think. So most of the time, the woman gets blamed when a child is conceived outside of marriage, and nobody never talks about. This is one thing that nobody never talks about: men trapping women. Men trap women all the time. It happens all the time. Men trap women. They do it all the time. You know, and it happens more often than not. It's just not something that's talked about a lot. Not even since I've been out here in these YouTube streets, it ain't been talked about a lot. It's not something that's talked about a whole lot because this world is sexist. YouTube is sexist, and all they can't seem to keep women out of, their mouths, single mothers and all that, and then people, particularly in the black community, want to blame the women for everything, you know. They would probably blame us for 9/11 if they could. I mean, yeah, they pretty much blame us for everything. Black women get blamed for everything. So we get blamed for everything. Major sexism. Nobody never talks about how men like to sometimes trap women. And they do that by coercing the women to have he coerces the woman into having his baby. Oh, we can be a family. I want you to have my baby. I'm gonna be there for you. I'm gonna marry you, and all this kind of stuff. And then the woman has the baby, and he changes. Most of the time, when a child is born, a man changes. He flips the script. They become a different person once the baby gets here. In most cases, I'm not saying in all cases, but most cases, men change when it's like I don't know if they get jealous of the child, or I don't know what the situation is, but most oftentimes it's why it's the biggest misconception women think when they give birth to a child that, oh, it's going to bring us closer together. That's a fantasy. It's a fantasy. A child does not, if the relationship was on shaky ground to begin with, a child is not going to strengthen it. If your relationship wasn't solid before the baby, it's probably going to be worse after you have the baby. That's the biggest misconception, that a baby mends a relationship. No, no, not because a man has to go up and beyond. A woman's bond with the child is going to be pretty much automatic because she carries that baby in her body. So a woman's bond with the child is going to be instinctual in most cases. But a man has to go up and beyond. A man has to go up and beyond and bond with that baby. And it's going to be through his love for that woman. It's going to depend on how much love that he has for that woman and how much love he has for that child. That's going to determine how much a bond he has with that child. And if that love is not solid and there to begin with, he's going to have a very difficult time bonding with that baby. Of course, that's a whole nother subject. But that's what they do. I mean, that's oftentimes men do. Men give women the false sense of security that I'm going to be there. We're going to be a family. Go ahead and have my baby. This and that and other. And she didn't want to have this baby, but he talked her into it. And then once she had the baby, he put most of the responsibilities of the child on her. It wasn't what she thought it would be. Now she wants to. That's one of the ways men trap women. Another thing I want to talk about, another way that men trap women. And wait a minute, I want to rewind and talk about some of the reasons why men trap women into a pregnancy, having their baby. And it could be he doesn't want her to leave him. He may not want her to leave him. He may have a fear that she may leave him. He may have a fear that she's going to advance him career-wise. He wants to tie her down in an aspect, and kind of, because when you have a man's baby, y'all gonna be always connected through that child. You're gonna always be connected, and sometimes men get off on that. They get off on the thought of, okay, she gonna always be connected to me because we have this child. Even if we're not together, we're gonna always be connected through this child. And so sometimes they trap a woman that way. That's one of the reasons why they trap a woman, so that he can forever be connected to this woman, to tie this woman down, to settle her down, to tie her down, so she won't leave, or she won't advance him career wise, or won't get so far career wise or whatever. In situations like that, and it could be amongst other reasons why these men want to trap a woman. And another way that a man that men like to trap women is, they call it, another YouTuber by the name of, her name is Joe's, I should have wrote down her name. I've been looking at a lot of her content. The sister is deep. She's on TikTok and on YouTube. Joe's something. I've been watching a lot of her content lately. She popped up in my recommendations, and I've been kind of binge watching her content. She's pretty deep, and she's on TikTok as well. And she was talking about that topic of, they call it sleething or steathling, or I'm supposed to write it down, or sleething, where a man, during the course of intercourse, the man takes off the condom during the sexual act. That is another way a man can trap a woman into having his baby. There's a lot of women that's something that is not talked about. That is something that is not talked about. I haven't seen it over the years that I've been on YouTube. I haven't really heard it being talked about a lot. It happens to women more often than not. I'm probably going to do another video going more into depth with that topic, but it's called sleeping or steathling or something like that, where the man takes off the condom during the course of sex. And a lot of times women wind up pregnant that way. And when the woman winds up pregnant, she is the one that gets blamed for it. It happens more often than not. Believe me, I know what I'm talking about. It happens a lot where men do that. And it could cause women to get pregnant. See, women, people have no idea. People are always talking about women this and women that, and women this and women that. They want to blame everything on women, but never talk about this disgusting, dirty, underhanded things that men do. And that is one of the underhanded, dirty things that men like to do. Take off the condom in the middle of sex. And they do that all the time. And it's something that's not really talked about. I told the sister that I was going to talk about it on my channel, and I was going to spread awareness about it because it happens to a lot of women. They said that is a form of sexual abuse. It can be a form of sexual abuse. And they said that in the state of California, a man can actually be charged with rape, with sexual assault. Yes, it's deep. Because a man has no business doing that without a woman's consent. He has no business doing that, particularly when the woman is trying to prevent a pregnancy. A woman should always have a backup birth control method, but if a woman is trying to prevent a pregnancy and a man takes off a condom in the middle of, in a sense, you're trying to get this woman pregnant. If that she's trying to prevent a pregnancy, and it was understood that a condom was going to be used, and you take it off in the middle of intercourse, okay, you want that woman to get pregnant. You're trying to trap her. And that is another way that men like to entrap women into getting pregnant. And they do that. They take it off right in the middle of the act. And like I said, it's a form of sexual assault. And it's something that is not talked about. I think it's because the reason why it's not talked about is because women didn't necessarily recognize it as it being a violation. Maybe embarrassment or whatever the situation is. But yes, it is in fact a violation. And in California, men are starting to be prosecuted for that. Because a man has no business taking off a condom without a woman's consent. And if she's trying to prevent a pregnancy and you take that off, you wanting to get her pregnant. You want to get her pregnant. You're trying to trap her into having your baby. And they know 9 times out of 10, the woman is the one that's going to get blamed for it. She's going to get blamed for it. Why he get to run off and not take accountability. See, and that's another way that men like to trap women. And so in this situation, he coerced her and he talked her into having this baby. And she had the baby and with the expectation that he was going to help her with the child. Maybe she had some other expectations as well. And this man ghosted her and act like he didn't want to help her take care of the child. So she's like, I'm going to sign up my rights. You take the child because I never wanted the child. Now, a lot of people may look at that and be like, that's very cold hearted. That's very cold hearted. But I'd rather see a woman sign up her rights to the father of the child. Just to think all these cases that you hear about the mothers unaliving children, they unalive the children, or they're abusing the children. How many of those women really didn't want those children? And the man did that, trapped them into having the kids, and they had them. So I'd much rather for a woman do that than to see the child get unalived, to see the child get abused, or whatever the situation is that. And if he's the one that wanted the child, then he should want to have primary custody of the child, being that he's the one that wanted the child. So in a kid situation like that, flip that script. He want to try to trap you, and that's coming from somebody that would have never even considered doing such a thing. I wouldn't even have considered signing up the rights to my kids. But in a situation like that where she was coerced into having this child, trapped into having this child, under false pretenses, thinking that this man was going to be down for her, and she has the child, and he's not there like he's supposed to be, then yes, he should have primary custody of the child. By all means, she should sign up her rights to him, means that he's the one that wanted the baby. He should take primary custody of the child. But men do these types of things, and it's something that's not talked about. They trap women all the time. Women get trapped all the time. But people so busy blaming the woman for having the kids, for getting pregnant. But nobody never talks about that. Nobody never talks about how these men like to trap women into getting pregnant and having babies. Nobody never talks about that. But that's something that needs to be talked about more often. Because they know 9 times out of 10, you're the one that's going to get blamed for getting pregnant and having the baby. They know that. These men know that. They're dirty, and they know that. They know that as a woman, you're going to get blamed for it in this sexist society. They know you're going to get blamed, particularly if you're a black woman. They know you're going to get blamed. They're going to blame you themselves, knowing doggone well they trapped you. So I'm probably gonna do another video talking about that. It's called stephiling. I gotta get the correct terminology of it. I'm probably gonna do a whole nother video by that topic alone and talk more about that. But hit me up in the comment section what your thoughts are on that. What your thoughts are on men trapping women into having babies. Men trapping women into getting pregnant and having babies. Should he be the one to have primary custody of that child? Being that he want to try to trick somebody and to trap somebody into having a baby. He want to try to have a hold on a woman. They want to try to have a hold on a woman by getting her pregnant. Because some men think that they still can claim you even after you break up with him and you have his baby. After you break up with him, he still want to try to claim you and try to say that you his woman, or he thinks he still has his foot in the door, that he can have access to you at any time because you his baby mama. I had a rule that didn't happen for me, and so that single mother has to set boundaries, and that's the way a lot of these men think. That's the way a lot of these men think. I'm not saying all men are guilty of that, but a lot of men think like that. They figure, she got my baby, I'm going to always have access to her. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of them think like that. And that's a scumbag way of thinking, So hit me up in the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are on Men trapping women into having a baby. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. And hit that like, subscribe, and that notification bell so every time I do a video, you'll be notified. Until the next video, you guys be blessed.